Okay, so let's jump right in. We're going to explore this really profound, almost radical idea about human connection and, well, what it truly means to heal. We're going to look at how the simple act of seeing another person, like truly seeing them, might just be one of the most powerful forces there is. Wow. Now that is a powerful statement, right? It's almost provocative. But what if there's a deep, deep truth to it? It's suggesting that maybe our biggest wounds don't come from what happened to us, but from that crushing sense of invisibility we felt when it was happening. That feeling that no one really saw our struggle. Just take a second. Think about that. Can you remember a time when someone looked right past all the labels, your job, your role, the mask you wear every day, and saw you? The actual you inside. It's an incredibly rare thing, but man, when it happens, it can change everything. So we're going to explore this universal feeling, this wound we all carry of being misunderstood, overlooked, or even worse, just treated like an object. And we're going to find an incredible insight into both the problem and its solution from a pretty surprising place, a 15th century German cardinal and philosopher. This right here gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? We move through the world constantly looking at each other, on the street, in meetings, scrolling online, but we so rarely actually see each other. We just become another thing in someone else's way, an obstacle to get around while they're on their way to something else. So let's bring in the thinker, who gives us a powerful way to reframe all this. His name was Nicolaus of Cusa, and his ideas about what it means to see were literally centuries ahead of their time. He basically gives us a blueprint for a kind of vision that can actually heal people. Okay, so for Cusa, this whole concept of being an image of God, or imago Dei, wasn't about some generic divine spark that we all share. No, he argued that what makes you an image of God is your quiddity. It's a fantastic word, right? It just means your irreducible, unrepeatable, one-of-a-kind way of being you. There has never been and will never be another person exactly like you. That singularity, that's your divinity. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the contrast here. Our normal, everyday vision is distracted. It objectifies people, it just consumes information. But Cusa's vision, it's something else entirely. It's an attentive gaze that doesn't just see a person. It actively enlivens them. It recognizes their unique existence, and in that moment of recognition, it actually affirms and energizes it. So to make this really concrete, Cusa used an analogy that all of us have lived through. Just imagine you're walking down the street, totally lost in your own head, thinking about your to-do list, what's for dinner, whatever. Someone walks right past you. Your eyes physically see them, but your mind, it's a million miles away. So here's the crucial point. You don't actually recognize them as a unique person. They're just a moving object in your way. And for Cusa, this isn't just some minor social faux pas. It is a profound failure of true vision. It's a failure to perceive their unique reality. In that moment, you've turned a singular human being into a rock or a lamppost, just an obstacle. Now, I know this diagram looks a little complex, but the idea behind it is so beautiful and simple. For Cusa, really seeing someone wasn't just a physical thing your eyes do. It was a spiritual event. It's like this meeting of two forces, our own focused, present attention, and a kind of divine light or intention coming from the other person to be seen. When those two things meet, bam! That's when real recognition happens. So how does this actually play out in real life? Well, Cusadal saw the ultimate case study for this kind of transformative gaze in a very famous story, the encounter between Jesus and the Samaritan woman at the well. Now, in his sermon about this story, Cusa makes a critical point right off the bat. This wasn't some kind of magical X-ray vision. Jesus saw her using the same kind of physical, fleshly eyes that you and I have. The whole thing starts with a fundamentally human act of just looking. But his gaze didn't just stop at the surface, because his attention was completely there, in the moment, with no distractions. His vision went deeper. He looked right past her social status as an outcast, and he saw what Cusa calls the messenger of the heart. He saw her history, her pain, her potential, everything held right there in her face. And this is the absolute key. The healing didn't come from a lecture or a sermon. It came from the simple act of being truly, completely seen. For maybe the first time in her entire life, someone's gaze didn't judge her or use her, but instead it recognized and affirmed her singular worth. That attentive gaze woke up her own sense of her unique, divine identity. Okay, so what's the takeaway for us? This isn't just some dusty old theological lesson. Cusa believed this was a practical guide for how we can offer this exact same gift of healing to each other right here, right now. It starts by just quieting the noise in our own heads, our agendas, our to-do lists, our judgments. Then we simply attend to the other person with no expectation, without trying to label them or figure them out. And in that quiet, attentive space, we create the chance to recognize their unique quiddity, that unrepeatable miracle of who they are. And when we are seen like this, our whole being just comes alive. It's like we were a black and white photograph that suddenly bursts into vivid, living color. We don't just exist as a fact in the world. We exist vigorously, vitally. We're brought into focus, not just for the other person, but for ourselves. We are finally recognized. And that really leaves us with a final question, a challenge. This isn't just an interesting idea to think about, it's something to do. To offer this profound, healing gift of your focused, non-judgmental attention to someone in your life. So, whom do you need to stop just looking at and truly begin to see?